Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, man. You know what I'm saying? I saw the Warriors game in its entirety yesterday with the Oklahoma City Thunder, man. Great game, man. You know what I'm saying? It was an action-packed game, man. It was like a old school 15-round fight where both teams, was just dishing it out. Dishing it out, willing to give. You know what I'm saying? Neither team wouldn't break, but unfortunately, you know, the Warriors, I'll say like in the 14th round, they delivered a knockout blow, man, which put, Oklahoma City Thunder on the campus for good, man. And that knockout punch was Stephen Curry. Now, I want to say this about the Warriors. The Warriors is a special team, and I'm not saying this because I'm in the Bay where the Warriors play at, but fact is fact, man. Truth is truth. And I'm not being a prisoner of the moment. Some of you guys are prisoners of the past. You guys won't let go of what you saw in the 80s with the Laker teams and the Celtics teams, and even in the mid 90s with those Houston Rockets teams that broke off two in a row. So I mean, it's just like we kind of won't let go. Now I'm not caught up in the past or the present, but I'm calling it like I see it, man. And it's time to have these comparisons, man. Who would win? I know it's still some basketball left to be played in the 2015-2016 season with the Golden State Warriors, but let's be honest. Who do you see out there that can beat the Warriors four times in a 7-game series? Do you think Cleveland can do it? No. Do you think the Miami Heat can do it, even though they signed Joe Johnson? No. Do you think the Chicago Bulls can do it? No. Do you think the Hawks can beat the Warriors in a 7-game series? No. Toronto? No. There's teams that's scrambling, trying to figure out, well, how the hell do we beat this team? How do you beat this team? And right now, nobody doesn't seem to have the answer. Now, as far as the Warriors go, compared to LeBron James and what he did to win 2 championships. Look, I'm not knocking LeBron James, so please don't come on here. Man, why you hating on LeBron James, man? Because I noticed y'all been like giving me and Ticket and a couple of other guys a hard time about this shit. But we not hating on LeBron James. These are facts. They're just the motherfucking facts, and that's just the way it is, as Coach would say. Now, unlike what LeBron did in 2000, I think it was 2010, where he said he was taking his talents to Miami. LeBron had the luxury of winning 2 championships with 2 future Hall of Famers and multiple All-Stars in Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. I feel all 3 of those guys, it's ironic they came out of the same draft, which, by the way, look for that video, the best NBA drafts, top 5. So look for that video. But I feel like this. All 3 of those guys will most likely be first ballot Hall of Famers. LeBron is a lock. I think Dwayne Wade is a lock. Chris Bosh should get in on the first ballot. I don't see why he wouldn't. But they might try to pull some shit and put him in on his second year eligibility. But we all know that all 3 of those guys are headed for the Hall of Fame. Now, the difference between the Warriors built that team from the ground up. And that's obvious proof because the Warriors pretty much stunk pretty much forever. I lived through those days where they was winning 15, 16 games a year and always getting fucked in the NBA draft lottery from 1985, the very first one when David Stern screwed the Warriors out of Patrick Ewing. Because he did. And that frozen envelope shit, it is not a myth. It's the truth. They admitted that some of those drafts were rigged. A lot of them were. But what I'm saying is the Warriors built that team from the ground up. They drafted Stephen Curry. They built a team around him. They went on to draft Klay Thompson. Then they drafted Harrison Barnes and Draymond Green in the same draft. Then they went on to sign some key free agents, Sean Livingston, Barbosa. Then not to mention they traded for Andrew Bogut. So they put it all together, basically drafting correctly and then making some good trades and signing some good free agents. So that's what makes it more special. You know, like I said, I'm not knocking what LeBron James did. He needed to win a championship to secure his legacy as one of the best that ever did it. And that's all fine and dandy. But what I'm saying, what's going on with this Warriors team, man, this is history. Because like I said, barring injury, I don't see no team that's going to beat them in a 7-game series. I think when the Warriors enter the playoff, I don't see them collapsing or choking because they already been there before. All that shit about last year was a fluke, you know, and they didn't have to go through San Antonio and all that type of shit was just complete bullshit. You know, people can't understand how this small market team that plays in Oakland, California can be so dominant. You know, unless you play in the big cities like New York, Chicago, and Miami, you're not expected to be this good. You know, because to be honest with you, the NBA, you know, in Los Angeles also. Because let's just be honest, the NBA isn't like the NFL where it doesn't matter whether it's a small market team winning the Super Bowl or not, because the NBA is an all around, you know, gigantic entity. They make money regardless. You know, to a certain degree, the NBA, they would rather, for ratings purposes, since you have to play a series, since you don't play one big game like the Super Bowl, they want it to be, you know, a big market team. You know, maybe the Lakers or the Knicks, because if the Knicks were good and the Lakers were good, I don't think the NBA would give a fuck if it was the Knicks and the Lakers every year, because those are the big media markets, you know, as far as world media goes. Los Angeles, New York, two biggest media markets. So that's why they sort of want the Knicks to be relevant, but the Knicks, they just have incompetent ownership, incompetent, you know, personnel running the team. So the Knicks won't be good anytime soon. And I don't see the Lakers being relevant anytime soon. And I just think the Clippers would just be a playoff team every year, and they'll get knocked out in the first or second round every year. So that's pretty much it. But like I said, man, give the Warriors they just do, man. And later on down the line, man, we gonna have to start having these discussions, man. Real talk about how the Warriors would fare against some of these great teams in the past. The Houston Rockets team that won 2 in a row. You know, some of those Los Angeles Laker teams from the 80s, the Boston Celtics teams from the 80s, you know, the early 2000 Los Angeles Lakers, the Chicago Bulls. It's time to start having them conversations. I'll talk to Jeff from Dream Chaser Boxing. We was on the phone. We talked about like this shit for about 45 minutes, man. If you had heard the conversation we had, I mean, we was going back and forth. I talked about it was fire. When I got off the phone with her, I said, man, we should have recorded this shit. But anyway, man, that's all I have to say about this subject regarding the Warriors and history. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all think. I'm out.